Hi everyone, welcome to a new prompt this week. So the new prompt for this week fits in nicely with the whole theme of the last project. So the new prompt for this week is either botanical or nature. So nature, pick whatever you want. You can do an animal, you can do a bug, you can do like anything you want, and then like trees or plants, flowers, botanical, whatever you want. So nature, botanical, nature's the theme. We thought we'd leave it quite broad because we have obviously come off a project where it was about a garden. But Rach and I, we want to have flowers in everything, probably. In saying that, I'm not even going with a flower today. I'm going to explain what I'm going with. In a sec. I have pinned quite a few things in the Pinterest board. So if you're a bit stuck for ideas, that's always the go-to to get some ideas. So I've pinned some different things in there. I think I've even pinned some of the pages that are on Pinterest from the last project down the garden path. So for me, what I've always wanted to do is to do one of those butterflies where you have lots of different embroidery and embellishments in each wing. So I created a little template. I've already drawn the body. So create a little template out of cardboard, and I'm just tracing around it using my friction pen. And now I'm going to trace around the wings. You only need to do the two wings because I'll trace them that way and then I'll flip them and trace them that way so that I don't have to worry about measuring them. I just freehand drew and cut them out because they'll be exactly the same on both sides. What I've got to be careful of is just to align my wings because I know this bottom one, pushing that down a little bit, sits very closely to that badge there. So sorry about the rain outside. It's just splashing in the drain pipes and on the barbecue. It's good we've got rain because it's been really dry for quite a while. Okay, so I'm going to start with the bottom wing just because it's very close there, and then I've also had to be careful. I've already sort of aligned it before I drew the body to make sure it doesn't hit this little thing down here. And just tracing around it with the friction pen. And of course my butterfly is going to be in the same colour themes that I'm going with. So it's going to be a French butterfly, French themed butterfly. So just lining this up. It's pretty good. I'm tracing around it. Now you won't see the pen at the end. It'll be covered. All right, so that's one side, and now I need to line it up so it's around the same height as the other side. And again, just getting my bottom part aligned. I think that's good there. Okay, and then the top piece. Okay, and then what I do want to add, I will be adding, just approximating my little tentacles, freehand drawing them, and I will embroider them. and I'll have a couple little eyes. So when I'm embellishing in the wings, I'm going to use a mix of embroidery, and then I was even thinking of putting, you know, bits of lace and trim every now and then. Might do some sequins somewhere. Got some gold beads, etc. Threads. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to do. My body, what I wanted to do for my body is I want to just needle applique, stripy body as the base. With the wings, I was deciding, do I want to do a base or I just want to go straight on? I'm going to go straight on. So my background will actually just be the actual tea towel, the linen tea towel. So to do my body, going to trace around the same template, leaving a small, do it over here, doesn't need an iron on this side, a small seam allowance so that I can turn the fabric under, and I will show you how I do that. And you don't want to have a large seam allowance because it'd be hard to turn under, and you don't want it to be too small, otherwise you won't actually get any fabric under. So I'll show you, I'm going to trim around this. So just rough cut it out to begin with. And now, oh hi Bobby, she just jumped up on the chair behind me. So it's not a 1/4 of an inch, it's less than that. And just in case anyone hasn't done needle turn applique, I will show you how to do that. There's a nice little curved edge on there. Okay. So I'm going to get my smaller scissors, and because I've got a curved edge, I need to do some little snips just up to the line or just short of the line, pretty much up to it, around the curve, so that, where was my last one? So that I can actually get those little bits of fabric under, and it will make a nice shape. If I didn't snip it around the curve, it would be very, very difficult, probably impossible, to get that nice curved shape. Okay. Now I want to position the body. Just make sure I'm getting it the right way round. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just fold this edge over and just finger press it. You could iron it if you want to, but it's a bit fiddly because it's small. Just finger pressing it, trying to get it along that line, because then it will make it easier for me to line it up on what I've drawn on the fabric. Okay. So now what I'll be able to do is just line it up, and I will pin it in place. Just going to do the same on the curve just at the top, just finger pressing it just to see where I need to line it up. A little bit fiddly, but it works out well. So this is a little bit fiddly. It's getting there. Okay. All right. I think that will be good. I'm just checking at the ends to see that they're going to fit to the line. All right, now I'm going to pin it. I've moved it a little bit. Doesn't matter if you can see the line because I can iron that line off. All right. Actually, you know what I have? These are little clover applique pins. They're very good for small bits and pieces. I'm going to use them because they kind of stay out of the way. They're just little. And I'll show you what thread I'm going to stitch with. I have to actually find it. So I'm going to have to come back in a minute because I rearranged stuff in my living room. I've moved stuff around and I'm in a completely different position to where it was and on a different table. This table's solid. It's not going to creak all the time. The other one was just a portable camping table that I used to use. But I have to find my thread. I'm just checking that I don't have it. I've got a basket of things here. Nope. It's not in there. All right, I'm going to pause you and I will come back when I've found my thread. I'll see you soon. All right, that took me a little while, but I found it because I've moved everything around and I had to find where I put it. So it's, oh, the label's missing on that side. It's the silk thread. I've used this before. So this one's a really pale aqua, but you won't even see it. It's so pale. So just, sorry, show you up a bit close. I've got a few of these, a few different colours. Like I think a pale grey and then a slightly darker grey and then that one. So I've already threaded up a little bit on my needle. Very simply. It's best and easiest to start your applique on a straight edge before going around the corner. So I just need to twist my fabric around and I will start towards the bottom. Actually, I'm over a bit. I'm going to move that. I'm going to move that over a little bit. Let me reposition it. Sorry, playing around with it again. Okay. Sometimes when you're pinning, you think you've got it right, but then you shift it and you don't realize. Okay. Yep, I think I'll be good now. Double check this end. Okay. Just being careful, I've got some pins up there, still haven't stitched that stuff down. Okay, so very simple. I'll show you a little bit of needle turn applique. I'll go around a corner and then I'll pop it off to finish it. So you just come up, just capturing the edge. I'm only just on the edge of the fabric there, and then you go straight back down through the fabric, through the linen. So just capturing the edge, and then straight back down through the linen, capturing the edge, straight back down. Okay, and then your stitches are really tiny and you can't even see them. They just blend in. It's pretty quick. Okay, now coming up to a curved bit, so all I do is I use my needle to just get that little bit of fabric and turn it under. That's why it's called needle turn applique. Okay, so coming up to my next piece, use my needle, just turn it under. I might turn under the next one as well. Oops. Smoothing it out. Might even do my stitches just a little bit closer together just to hold this curve. So far so good. Okay, so just a bit closer together now, around the curve. Okay, I'm going to turn my fabric. All right, just give me a sec. A bit awkward because I've got quite a bit of fabric gathered up, but you kind of have to hold it in. Okay. Turn it again as I'm going around. Hopefully, am I on camera? I hope you can see. Yes, I think I'm on camera. Okay. A little bit fiddly, but you get there in the end. Just going around curves. The straight part is easy. It's just the curves. Okay. Now I'm heading towards the straight. Okay, I can take my pins out, or take that top one out. And I'll show you this in a minute once I've got this all stitched. I was going to turn off the camera, but I may as well just leave it on. It won't take me too long to stitch it. Yeah, oh, a little bit. That's, I could have just tucked in a little bit of an angle there, but you won't notice it when it's done. It'll be all right. Once I add the wings and stuff, it'll be fine. I've just got bits everywhere. I think I'm going to take all these pin bits off. They're just getting in the way. I've got to get on with that and finish that. Okay. So I'm spacing out my stitches a bit more because I'm on the straight. And then I'll bring them back closer together once I hit that next curve, which is coming up. Oh, take the pin out. All right. So Rach will be good at doing these butterflies. Once upon a time, we got asked to do, I don't know if we've told you this, might have, the Homespun magazine, which is a quilting magazine, block of the month for a year. And I think I've told you guys this, but we weren't exactly quilters. So it was challenging for us, but the editor of the magazine at the time was really lovely and she liked the different things that we did. So we coordinated a quilt between Rach in Italy and myself in Australia, brainstormed ideas together. We ended up making like a big 9 patches that went together, and what was it, 4 of the patches, I think it was, Rach, all had these needle turn applique wreaths with butterflies in the middle, and they were some of the patches that Rach did. So she did a heap of needle turn applique butterflies, and in fact I've still got that quilt. I've got the quilt, thanks Rach. And it's my son's favourite. He uses it in summer when he gets rid of his doona. Just getting the last bits of this curve under. And I'll just finish off and we're done with the body. Okay, let me show you. So there we go. Butterfly body done. And now what I'm going to do with the wings, I'm going to outline with, I was thinking of doing couching, but with this I know it's got pinks and yellows and oranges, which aren't my colours, but it's mostly navy blue, and I think I'm just going to do the outline in this wool with a couching stitch, just to get my shape, and then I will start embellishing. So for tonight I might just embellish one wing, maybe one this small one, and then next week I might get some done during the week, and then next week I might finish off maybe with the top wing and show you some things. I'm just deciding, I'm not sure if I want to do them identical on both sides. I might do that, or I could do them completely different. I've still got to decide that, but if I do one wing, I'll show you some of the different ideas that I have. So let's have a look at couching. Again, this is a stitch we have done before. So I just thread my wool. That needle's going to be too small. Let me find a bigger one. This one might work. So these are hand-dyed wools. I've got heaps of them. I don't have any just plain navy and plain red. I've got a lot of variegated ones with lots of different colours, a lot of really, really bright colours. I don't have any that are like red at all. All right, so couching. I'm going to bring it up right at the point where the wing meets the body. And I'm going to couch it down. You need to have another thread that you use to stitch over it, and I'm going to just use navy. Actually, I've got a needle here already threaded up. Actually, there's not much on there. Let me have a look. No, that's not very much. I'll thread up a new piece. Oof, got bits going everywhere. So I'm using a number 8 Perlé cotton in navy blue. This is a Wonderfeel Perlé EZ12 is the colour. Just navy. So you thread up your second needle with your thread. I'm not going to use that one. That's a milliner's needle. I might have been doing some French knots or bullion stitches. Okay. So thread up your second needle with your other thread, and you can completely contrast your threads if you want. And I'm not using the same types of threads. The bottom thread is a wool. This one is a cotton perlé. So they're different types of fibres. And what you do is you lay this one down, and then take my second thread and I come up through the fabric just next to where I want that thread to lie, and I just stitch over the top, and I come up a little bit ahead again. So I'm holding the thread down with a straight stitch straight over the top, and I can see I come up a little bit ahead and go straight down over the top, and it's not back through the same hole. You just go onto the other side of the thread. It's close, but it's not quite exactly. You see I'm rolling it back and forth so I can see where that line is. I'm keeping it close to the line, and then I can see it. Okay, I'll hold this up. I'll just do a little bit more, then I'll hold it up to the camera so you can see what it looks like. It's a very good outlining stitch. It's good if you're doing script, couching. I like couching. It's a fun stitch. A little bit more. show you. Okay, just have to get up, excuse me, so I can bring it up so I can see on camera. Zoom it in. Sorry, that's just my light. I'm trying to get it under the light for you. Can you see the stitches? Might blend in a bit because it's navy on navy. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop off the camera and I'm going to finish outlining my butterfly, and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. See you soon. Okay, so here's my butterfly. The wings are couched on. Now I'm going to do the bottom wing. I've cut a little piece of gold trim, which I'm going to stitch there using a DMC thread. Don't know what type it is. It's gold, so that will kind of blend in. These threads sometimes can be difficult to use. They tend to split, but we'll see how we go. You can see the fibers, they separate. Have I got it? Yes. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to stitch down the trim to run alongside the bottom of this wing. So just anchor it in place. Okay, so I'm just doing, just like the needle turn applique, I'm just doing a little straight stitch over the edge, little whip stitch, not whip stitch, overcast stitch, kind of like a whip stitch too. Anyway, okay, I'm just going to do this bottom edge first to run it right alongside that wool that I've couched down. Just need to manipulate it around the corner. Okay. So now that I've got that down, just do a stitch over each peak and then a stitch in the little valley. Should be, oops, so sorry. Should be enough to just hold it nicely in place. was pretty easy. All done, and the gold thread worked well. Okay, I just finished off. Okay, so what I was thinking of doing next is using some wool thread. Actually, I might pick a different one to that. I'll go switch it. I was thinking of embroidering some circles. And the type of stitch I'm going to use is a satin stitch. I'm going to do 3 circles. Just let me see if I want to change this. One sec. I'm going to this one. May not look any different to you, but it's a little bit thicker and the tones are just a little bit darker. Okay, so it's going to be it'll be easy to satin stitch in this wool because it's quite thick. It will fill in quickly. Now I'll just show you how I do satin stitch when I'm satin stitching a shape. So what I do is I start off with a running stitch around the shape. So I'm going to running stitch the circle. Actually not running stitch, back stitch. So just a little back stitch around on the circle. Just holding it down with my thumb to stop it from gathering up because you could see it was doing that. It's wool, so the fibres can catch a little bit and then they can tangle if you're not careful. It is lovely to stitch with. If you're wanting to do embroidery in wool, you can do different weight wools, but for most embroidery you use a 4-ply wool. Also they use it. It's called sock fingering wool as well. Yeah, so it's definitely a fibre that we all love stitching in. You can use thicker, like an 8-ply, but often an 8-ply is better for like this for couching. That's a 4-ply as well, that one that I use, 4-ply. This one's a really soft one that I'm using. Okay, 2 more stitches and then I'll show you my satin stitch. It's pretty straightforward, probably like how other people do it with this back stitch border. Why do I do it? It kind of raises up the stitch a little bit and it keeps it neat and it gives you a good guide to go over the top of. And because it's in the same wool, it just blends underneath. You don't see it. Okay, so satin stitch. Decide which direction you want to go because all your stitches will be the same. So if I come out there, I'm just going to go straight across that way and then all my stitches will be the same. Now you have two choices here. So there's my first stitch over top. I can come back up just next to this stitch and save thread and just go back over, or I can come over the top back to the beginning again and go down this side. I find, even though it doesn't save wool or thread, this way I find it's a little bit neater. Okay, so you basically just keep stitching over the top, one stitch next to the other, until your circle is filled in. Okay, so your stitches get a little bit shorter as you get over the edge of the circle. Alright, and then back to fill in the other side. And if you find you've got any gaps later on, you can always come back and do another stitch in there. But as I said, this nice thick wool, it's very quick to do satin stitch. If you were doing satin stitch with like a stranded cotton, I often use all 6 strands. It's quicker, thicker, and easier to fill in. If you did it in like 2 strands, it would take you a lot longer, and it takes a while to get that neat. All right, so one circle done. So you've got a little tangle in the back. They're usually easy to get out. There we go. All right, I'm going to pop off the video again, finish the 3 circles, and then I'm going to embellish them a little bit more. I'll be back soon. Okay, my spots are done, and I'm just going to do one more thing before I finish off, because I feel like my video is getting long tonight, and then I will do some more in here. But just at the base of my dots, I'm going to do some French knots just around the bottom. So I have a perlé in red, and I want them to have some decent like fullness to them. So I'm going to wrap 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back down, not in the exact same hole, but just next to it. Put your thumb on this thread as you pull it through so you don't get a tangle. Okay, and I am using a milliner's needle, which is what is easiest to use for wrap stitches like French knots, bullion stitches, etc. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason the milliner's needle is good, if you haven't heard us talk about it before, is because the eye of the needle is the same width as the actual needle. It doesn't get wider. Most needles, like a chenille needle for example, if I just show you, a chenille needle gets a little bit wider here, so it's not as easy to pull through. A milliner's needle, the width is exactly the same. It doesn't go out. You can feel that. The downside of these is the eye is smaller to thread, but I don't have a problem. That's actually quite a big one. I think it's a number 4 from memory, whereas the chenille needle is easy to thread because it's a big eye. But I actually love sewing with milliners. I know they're long. I actually do a lot of stitching with them. not just wrap threads. I'll often do other things as well. It's just easy to pull through. So I think I'm going to do 5 French knots around each one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more. So I guess I'm just, in a way, doodle stitching just random stitches on my butterfly wings. They're not meant to look super realistic. It's just playing around with different stitches and trims and threads and things like that. And I'm going to do the whole of one side first and then decide if I'm going to match the other side. I'm just going to see how it looks and then make a decision. They kind of look like they're just all going together in like a scallopy kind of shape. I actually like doing French knots. Once you get the hang of them, they're easy to do. And they're cute, they're like little spots. I kind of feel like this one only needs 4. Because if I go 5, I'm coming right up here and it might look a bit weird. Let's see. I can always come back and do another one if I feel I need to. Maybe because I came a little bit wider down the bottom there, I fit 5 in. And one more. Yep, that would do. All right, so that's the beginnings of my butterfly, my nature creature, which is my butterfly. All right, I hope you get some good ideas for this prompt, and I look forward to seeing what you post on Facebook and on Instagram. All right, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week where I should have quite a bit more done. Okay, see you soon. Bye.